that was on our website and was also sent to us. On that agenda, once it was published, is there a declaration of interest with regards to our committee members? All right, I hear. Do speak up if you want my attention, because I am using my phone to use it as I use my iPad for my device that's holding my information. So, all right, I hear none there. So item number 3 on our agenda, we have a report with regards to the affordable housing build in Dundalk. And I think Anna Marie, are you taking this report?
I am.
So moved.
Oh, yes. We need to put that. It's been a while since I've been serving at the county. So moved by Councillor Dwight Burley. Do I have a seconder?
O'Leary.
Second by Councillor O'Leary. All right, so that motion's on the floor. So go ahead, Anne-Marie.
Thank you. This report is regarding a new affordable build in Dundalk. Staff are asking that we be directed to proceed with the first phase of pre-development activities, including the release of an RFP for architect services at an estimated cost of $250,000 to be funded from the Affordable Housing Reserve. We will apply for some seed funding that is available through CMHC, Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation, up to $150,000, and that we would bring back a report with more substantial design and cost estimates to a future task force meeting. The county-owned site in Dundalk was identified for redevelopment as part of our Affordable Housing Action Plan. It is located at 130 Rose Lane in Dundalk. It currently has an 11-plex of rent geared to income housing on the site. The site has approximately 1 acre of developer land, and so we asked Salter Pilon to provide a site feasibility assessment. And they did come up with a concept plan of up to 51 units of housing and suggested a building of approximately 44,888 square feet. In saying that, again, that is just a concept plan. That is the maximum amount of units we would be able to get on there. We would probably be looking at something that would have a common room, a scooter room, a mail room. So there might be a few less units, but that would be the max that would be there. The site does require minor variances in order to meet the required number of parking spots, and staff would like to begin the pre-development process for the affordable attainable build. The pre-development phase would include assessment with Southgate planning staff and the Grand River Conservation Authority. It would include any environmental assessments that might be required. We would acquire an architect for the project for drawing specifications and a construction cost estimate, and strategies to fund the project, including looking at a net zero feasibility study. The preliminary costs are, again, $250,000, and hoping to obtain some of those funding through seed funding. We would be putting in an application for that. Consultation, we would obviously want to work with Southgate staff, and Southgate also has an affordable attainable housing committee. So I'm actually meeting with them later on tonight. If council so wishes to proceed with the project, then wondering if they would be interested in being part of the design goals for the site, looking at the right mix, and of course any environmental or accessibility designs where appropriate. So the request for a proposal for the architect, it would be used to identify the number of units that would be maximized for there, including looking at all the other things we might need that I mentioned before, like our common room, looking at what would be that affordable mix. So rent geared to income, market units, affordable, making sure that we're hitting a lot of people that are in the area. And of course, looking at technologies for green environment, so environment whenever financially viable, and also our aging in place design. So the first phase of the architect scope would include high-level concept drawings. It would update the analysis of water and sewage capacity requirements with municipal staff. It would do some cost estimates and also present the concept to the task force. So this is what we would be looking at for the pre-development phase. And then if council so wish to move forward with the project, there would be other requirements that are listed in the report, such as full drawings, architectural drawings, and detailed costing that would be provided. There are a few opportunities for the overall funding of the project itself. Again, we would be applying for the seed funding. There's also the co-investment fund through CMHA, which has long-term low-interest loans available. So CMHC would provide a loan up to 40 years, where a lot of other banks and whatnot only go up to 30. So if that is something that would make the project viable, it would be an option for us. They also provide up to for anywhere from 80 to 95% of the project, the construction part of the project too, for loans. Infrastructure Ontario is also another area we could look at for takeout loans during construction and takeout. We have our Affordable Housing Fund. We know that we have already committed $3 million towards another build, but we would be able to see what we would have in 2023 to support this build. We still have also not received our funding amounts from the province for 2022, 23, or 24 yet. So hopefully that will be coming soon and give us a better idea financially. And then, of course, development charges. There are development charges identified in the draft development charges review for this build. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, well, thank you for that report, Anne-Marie. And questions from committee members? Speak up, because I got to scroll back and forth here.
I see Councillor Burley had his hand up, Mr. Chair.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor Burley.
Anne-Marie, just a bit of a clarification on the $250,000. That is basically seed money, so the architect present some preliminary drawings and so on. It does not include the final architectural fees or electrical mechanical fees that would be over and above that?
No, so this is basically just for getting the set of drawings and a cost concept going forward. And then if there's any environmental testing that we may have to do there too. So it would be the second phase. We would be coming back just to make sure that this is a project that we want to do, that's viable, making sure that we have funding set for it. But until we actually get to that point where we have a design and how much it's actually going to cost us, it's difficult to move forward beyond that. And then there would be architectural fees beyond this too. So this would not cover all of them. I think we estimated in the report it'd be around 600,000 for complete architectural fees.
Thank you, Anne-Marie.
Any follow-up, right?
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions to the report? That's been moved in second. Well, that sounds exciting in a sense of moving
Gordon
forward.
Hicks.
Oh, go ahead, Mr. Warden.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Anne-Marie, I'm gathering that we won't know more about the potential mix of housing that would be in this building until we have more of the feasibility part done.
Yes, potential mix would also be on viability, right? So we know for a fact that we would like to have some money up front, and we're assuming that we're going to have some funding annually, as we do with all of our buildings right now, in order to make that work. But we would be looking at, depending on how many units we could fit in there, we'd certainly be looking for attainable units so that people can work where they live. Affordable units, and then we would have a mix of RGI in there because we already have 11 RGI units, so we would continue to have the 11 RGI units there right now too.
Thank you.
Okay. Any follow-up there, Mr. Warden?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So they're sort of at the early stages and assessing this as you've laid out in that report, but going from 11 units to 51 units is pretty exciting, I would say. And certainly you've addressed the broader area that not only Southgate, but other areas within the county that could also benefit from that as well. All right, so that has been report H2RAF 2321 has been moved by Councillor Burley and second by Councillor Leary. Any further discussion on that report to bring back forward to council? Okay, is there anybody opposed to that report? Please speak up.
I see no hands, Mr. Chair.
Okay, and thank you, Heather, and welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so moving on then to our next item is, switch it back to my agenda here. It's a little slow. All right, the next item is report HDR AF 2121 assessment of long-term care home conversion to affordable housing. Would somebody care to put that on the floor? So please speak up.
Stephen E. and Warden Hicks.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Anne Marie.
Thank you, Chair. So this report is basically, as we know, there is a need for affordable housing. We were asked to look at the feasibility of 2 available buildings for housing units. These are 2 long-term care facilities. Again, we did enlist Salter Pilon Consulting to provide us with a site analysis and suitability and the possible number of units and cost of those renovations. Salter Pilon was up and had a look at the 2 sites. The first property at 1029 4th Avenue West in Owen Sound was sailed due to obviously long-term care beds being redeveloped. The current site is 12,000 square foot building. It is operating as a 29 bed long-term care facility. It was built in 79, is 42 years old, and is zoned institutional. It has a lower basement, which supports mechanical and service requirements. They did have a look at the heating and electrical systems and the sprinkler system. There does appear to be a sprinkler system that has been added. The other site they looked at is 135 William Street in Meaford. This site is currently 29,000 square feet. It was built in 77, is 44 years old. It is currently zoned urban institutional. And again, had a look at its heating and electrical systems, and noted that the building does not currently have a sprinkler system. Salter Pilon then had a look at the conversion potential. In both cases, it was the architect's opinion that significant renovations would be required in order to change the type of occupancy. And also noted by our staff that had a look at the zoning, that the Owen Sound property is zoned institutional, and a site plan application would be required in order to change this. And with the Meaford property, that it was urban institutional, and noted that a site plan application would also be required in order to change that. There is more information in the addendum of the closed session report for council or task force if they'd like to see that. Conversion at either sites were estimated between $460,000 and $495,000 per unit. And this is an information report.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that. And questions, please speak up. Shirley.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Anne Marie, for all the work that's been done on this. At our last Affordable Housing Task Force meeting, we had talked about you having a conversation with our CAO in Meaford to see if there were any potential incentives or any partnerships that might be possible for this project. And I just wondered if you could share any details of those conversations.
So I did have a conversation, and the conversation more leaning towards looking at other potential sites in Meaford, and that there may be some opportunity where I'm still working with the CAO there to have a look at some other opportunities. Again, even with opportunities that might be available, the site just seemed to still be too financially not working within the finances that we have to work with. But that doesn't say that we're not looking at other opportunities that might be available within Meaford.
Thank you. Shirley, do you have a follow-up to that?
Mr. Chair, thank you. And I appreciate that, Anne Marie, and recognize that, a conversion of an existing building is always challenging to say the least. And so I'm just pleased to hear you say that you are looking at other potential opportunities in Meaford. So that is appreciated, and look forward to ongoing discussion on those, Anne Marie. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Any other questions? Again, this is an information report, and it was moved by Shirley Keaveney and Warden Hicks. It's report HDRCW-2121 we received. Seeing more other questions? All in favor? Anybody opposed to that? Okay, that is carried. Moving on to our third report. Bear with me to my agenda here again. So then this is, sorry, I guess we just go into the closed session of our agenda now. I was thinking there was one more, but that could be in the closed session that I'm thinking of.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, so can somebody move and second that we go into closed session to discuss the item that's identified on our agenda?
So moved.
That's Dwight. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second, Shirley.
Okay, Shirley, thank you. And that's going in close to discuss the Affordable Housing Task Force with regards to the section 239 of the Municipal Act with regards to a proposed or pending acquisition of land by the municipality or local board. Is there anybody opposed to going in camera? Okay, hearing none. That's
And all
carried.
staff will remain in the closed session, Mr. Chair.
Okay, you can add that to the addendum of that.
Yes.
That's great.
So we'll just wait for Olivia to stop the recording and the live stream.
One moment, please.